Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2025 NBA playoffs. Oh, where are the LAFC highlights at? Yeah, I got to add some of those, huh? Got to add some of those. But anyway, great night for LA tonight. The Kings become the only LA team to win both of their home or their first two games. The Lakers and the Kings were the teams with the home court advantage or the home ice. The Clippers have not. Kings were the ones to come out with the 2-0 series lead over Edmonton. Man, fourth time's the charm, hopefully. 3 straight years we've lost to these guys. In tonight's episode, though, we're going to be talking about both LA basketball teams because this is your hub for all things LA basketball. Whether you're a Clipper fan, Laker fan, UCLA, USC, does not matter. I know I am a Clipper fan, but of course, if shout out to my good Laker fans. I want to be starting with you guys tonight because your game was more recent, and I feel like, they have all my Laker fans that expect content. I've not been good enough. And then, of course, going to talk about the Clippers and game 2. Of course, I had Locked On Clippers as well. Posted my game 2 breakdown, but we'll talk about it again in this one. And then I think I'm going to try to record 2 Locked Ons for tomorrow because I promised the fans one today, and I've been lagging on that. So we'll do that. And by the way, if you're listening on Twitter right now, I would like you to come to YouTube at the 10-minute mark. I am going to be taking away the Twitter link. I want everybody to come to YouTube. The link is already on my page, so on my Twitter page. So if you're on Twitter, please come to YouTube. I want to get to 13,000 subscribers. It'd be really nice if I can hit that number before the season ends. So let's talk first about the Lakers and the Timberwolves. I did a breakdown on their first game, and it looked like I had completely underestimated the Wolves and completely overestimated the Lakers because they have Luka Doncic and they have LeBron James. And I was like, yeah. And mind you, like, I have not been able to watch basketball this year since everything's gone down. So it's been hard. But I realized that the Wolves just had way better defenders to guard the Lakers' best players than vice versa. Lakers really struggled to keep Ant out of the paint, and they're a poor transition team defensively. And the Wolves are very athletic, and they have a lot of size. The Lakers, after the trade, lack size. So with LeBron James and Austin Reeves not looking great, and them getting run off the floor the second Naz Reid came in the game in game 1, it looked like they were completely outmatched. But I've been a basketball fan for 20 years, long enough to know that you can't just take anything. You can't just come to grand conclusions about things after one game. Game 1 is very important. I think it's like 70% of teams that win game 1 of a best of 7 win in the NBA, but it's just one game at the end. So we were going to see how the Lakers responded. It was a must-win situation. And before we get into the scheme side of things, I thought the one thing that the Lakers really brought to the table was just a different level of physicality defensively on ball. Every single player from LeBron, who I thought was, like, out of the starters, the one that really came out moving his feet, even though Jaden McDaniels in that first possession mixed him, you could just see the different effort level. There was a desperation in their body language. And, we're going to talk about, how the Lakers kind of, zoned up Ant and really loaded up on him aggressively, those kinds of things. But the first and most basic thing is you got to bring a higher effort level. And the Lakers did exactly that. They played with a level of desperation when they guarded on the ball. Luka Doncic, he actually was playing hard, taking charges, boxing out. I mean, when he's playing against Rudy Gobert, Luka's already in attack mode at all times, but when he's playing against Rudy Gobert, we saw this last year in the conference finals, and I did breakdowns for every single one of those games. It feels like he has a real, vendetta against him. Like, he wants to prove that he cannot guard him to save his life. And to be fair to Rudy Gobert, he struggled in the first quarter a little bit, but after that, he held his own on those switches and did a pretty good job of staying on his feet, not falling for the pump fake, and contesting with a hand up. If you can get these guys to shoot a contested jumper over you, and they don't create too much space, so like an actual contested jumper, not like semi-contested, like the step back 3 he made in game 2 of the Western Conference Finals last year, that's like semi-contested. I'm talking real contest, and he had some of those in this game. if you get that, you're taking it. But, a lot was being made because I didn't get to watch this game live. It was my parents' anniversary, 30th, by the way. Blessed for real. But I wasn't able to watch the game live. So, of course, I was seeing what people were saying on Twitter. And by the way, super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Any donation is appreciated for your boy. Remember, of course, the biggest thing that matters is that you can also listen to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but subscribing on YouTube, that is very important to me. So please do so. And if you're a Clipper fan, and I see a lot in here, go to Locked On Clippers to subscribe as well. Just hit 7,000 there. So, but here's the thing, right? A lot was being made about the free throws and how many fouls that certain guys in the Wolves were getting. Naz Reid, who ended up with 4 fouls, and Dante DiVincenzo ended with 4 fouls, and Randall had 5, and Jaden McDaniels had 5. Well, the Wolves ended up still shooting more free throws than the Lakers did, 25-20 in disparity. But damn, the Lakers shot 20 for 20 from the free throw line. That's an amazing stat. That is an amazing stat to make every single free throw in a playoff game. And by the way, so far, and I said this, I want to say 2022 was the first playoffs I said this, where it feels like they've been calling a little bit less. They've been letting him get more physical. This was a physical game, but they were still calling a lot of fouls, in my opinion. And I just don't think you're going to get the same number of free throw attempts when guys are shooting so many threes. And also, teams are not in the bonus as much because this series might not be the best example of it. And it was shown by the amount of free throws, the Warriors and Rocket series as well. But like, so much of it is drive and kick now with spacing that you're not getting as much ISO stuff. And when in the playoffs, you get more ISO than regular season. But when you have to guard in isolation, that forces you to play physical defense because it's very hard to guard NBA players without hand checking, without bodying up. So that's when you end up getting more fouls in that kind of a game. So I was using that as context for why the free throw rate is down. But I genuinely do believe that they're letting them play right now to a level that I'd say it's around the same as 2022. Last year, I feel like the last 3 years we've been saying that, wow, they've really let him play more. You know what I'm saying? This is feeling like maybe early 2010s level of physicality. I'm never going to say 2000s. Also, because if you have more bigs, you're going to have more physicality. You're going to have more people getting decked in the lane. Freedom of movement wasn't a thing yet. You're seeing some grabbing here. I mean, Steph Curry, I'm not going to talk about the Warriors game because I didn't watch it in depth. And by the way, I still plan on doing what I always say I'm going to do during the playoffs, and that's doing a breakdown of every game for every single round and series. But I'm lagging on it. I'll find a way to get it done. Trust me, believe, be patient. I'm not going to be like last year. I'm talking about game 3. Game 3 when it's, game 5 just ended. I'm going to try to be a little more strategic about it, but I still promise and vow to do that for the people and for myself to have these receipts because this is where it's at. Playoff basketball, not much better than that, really. I enjoy every second. And yeah, I say that all to say that the physicality level was increased, but the Wolves did get in foul trouble. However, I didn't think that the calls were that unfair. I mean, yes, the whole thing is that the script is in and you need the Lakers to win the game for the ratings and to not have them eliminated. But the Wolves were genuinely struggling to stay in front of Luka. Like they were struggling to play defense without fouling. And by the letter of the law, you can't just grab guys like that. Like it's even in the 90s, I don't think you could grab guys like that, but I think there was more being done because that's just how it was. But again, we're going to break all these games down one day. In the 2000s, I know there definitely was because I saw it. But there still's been, and it also depends on the game. Like I thought game 1 of our series was not, like it was physical, like more so than the regular season, but nothing crazy. Like they were calling fouls. But it's good to see. It's good to see. And I thought the Lakers brought a level of physicality. Same matchups on both sides. But the Lakers, so here's where they get to the strategic stuff. They were blitzing Ant more. So Jackson Hayes was coming out, throwing 2 on the ball. Sometimes it was like a hedge, not even a blitz, just like showing and then recovering. But they really were trying to make Ant-Man throw the skip pass. They were taking away the most obvious pass, and they were trying to make him skip it across the court and doing a really good job of Xing out and covering ground and kind of, making – it's kind of like how the Clippers did the Nuggets. It's making the floor seem smaller and abusing the fact that, okay, you got to be very strategic about your spacing if you're an offensive team. Because if you're all just behind the arc, we'll be able to, as NBA athletes being so, big and long, they can kind of zone it up in a way where they're guarding two at once. And if you throw a long pass, they're able to, shoot the gap very easily. But if you have two guys camping by the basket, that allows them to load up and kind of wall off your drives. So what you started to see was just the Lakers being more willing to get the ball out of Ant-Man's hands, but also forcing the toughest possible pass for him, which is exactly what the Clippers were doing to the Nuggets. And I'll talk about that a little later. And for those wondering, and so like when Ant-Man had the ball at the top of the key in isolation, and there was still so much mismatch hunting, this series is just a lot of mismatch hunting because both teams are trying to switch a lot. The Lakers weren't being as switch heavy with Jackson Hayes, but like they're not going to keep Jackson Hayes in for that long. However, he played only 8 minutes in game 1 and only played 9 minutes in game 2. So it's very clear where JJ Redick's thought process is at in this series. He wants to play 5 out. He wants to go small. He wants to expose the fact that Rudy Gobert's got no offense so that they don't give a shit if they throw the ball in the post to Rudy Gobert. They have no problem with Luka, LeBron, Dorian Finney-Smith, or Rui Hachimura or Jared Vanderbilt defending Rudy Gobert in the post. He doesn't have the touch. He doesn't have the skill. If you want to continue to listen to this video or this podcast, whatever you want to call it, please come to YouTube. The Twitter link is being removed. Thank you very much. All right. So shout out to the 56 people on Twitter. Yes, people Clipper fans, you keep asking me, what's it called? Yes. Wear blue tomorrow if you're going to the game. Anyway, so let's continue to talk. As far as what the Lakers were doing, yeah, it's very clear what JJ wants to do. He wants to go 5 out. He wants to spread the floor and somewhat make life tough for Rudy Gobert to not be able to camp in the paint. You know what I'm saying? He wants to make him pay with shooters. And the thing is, a lot of that comes down to Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves creating advantages in pick and roll. And I'm sorry, well, mainly, which is going to be switching, so it's going to be isolation, creating advantages in isolation. And look, the Luka Doncic thing, I mean, both games he's been pretty fantastic. He's the only Laker besides Shaq in the LA Laker era, because the other one was Mikan, to have 30-plus points in his first 2 playoff games. Diesel and Luka, pretty legendary company for the franchise with such a storied history. The most storied, arguably. So Luka's been really good these first 2 games. I thought he was awful defensively in the first, but I mean, his effort level in game 2, same with Austin Reeves. Like Austin Reeves is not the best defender in the world, but he does have those games where he's just playing his ass off, taking charges, bodying up. And I'll give the Lakers this. They played with a level of desperation. They really did. And, I thought LeBron really set that tone physically, defensively. He was just, the ball pressure was very impressive from him. And, at his age, and it felt like a lot less of LeBron on ball. It really did. And it has these first 2 games. And I mean, look, he's 40 years old. It's normal. You know what I'm saying? It's a sacrifice that he also needs to make because there's only one ball, and these 3 are very ball dominant kind of guys. And Austin Reeves, by the way, like playing off ball, it hasn't looked playing off ball more so to Luka, because Luka is the one guy on this Laker team. If you're wondering, as a Laker fan, we're going a little too much Luka ISO. Because here's the thing. If Rudy Gobert is going to switch on LeBron, then and Mike Conley, who they were not letting switch on LeBron, they're going to show and recover. Although that is, having Austin, if Conley's guarding Austin Reeves, having Austin Reeves go set the screen for LeBron and putting Conley in the action, that's good stuff for the Lakers. I think they should go to that more often, because other than that, LeBron's choices of who to go guard one-on-one by putting somebody in the screen and roll, it's you're either going to have to ISO against Gobert, ISO against Ant, ISO against McDaniels. And who's the other guy that they start? Randall. So, and Randall was getting picked on to some degree, but I have to say, Julius Randle, for a guy who has been very disappointing in the playoffs throughout the course of his career so far, he's been really good in these first 2 games. He's been bringing a level of physicality. He's been in attack mode against Austin Reeves and any guys that he feels can't guard him on a switch, and it's causing help. And he's even done a good job against LeBron. So the thing about Randall is the 3 ball, though, his jump shot. Like when he's hitting his jump shot, he looks amazing. And when he's not, it doesn't look too great. And so far he has. But I don't know. I don't know how he shot second half of the season. I can look it up right now with his splits. But let's see. He shot 34% from 3 for the season. But in April he shot 45% from 3 and in March 36. So, who knows? But when he's making his jump shot, I mean, he's looking good, but he's been very impressive. But that's the thing with LeBron. He doesn't have as many guys that he can abuse. But Luka, he feels as though nobody can guard him. And as good as Jaden McDaniels is defensively, I mean, we saw the conference finals last year. He got absolutely destroyed. So Luka can feel that way. And Julius Randle, he feels that, he feels as though, Luka feels as though Julius Randle cannot guard him. So we saw a lot of that. Now, the crowd reacting to Luka Doncic getting Gobert on an island, I thought was hilarious. They all knew the story with Luka and Gobert. And I mean, when he was getting to the foul line and being super aggressive in the first quarter, you could see him like taunting on every single drive. Like he really doesn't like Gobert. And I'll say this, Luka is as a Clipper fan, I know best. He is a great first quarter player. He tends to take over games. But as I'm saying, Redick is going to let him because he's the best. If the Wolves are going to switch everything like that, Luka is the best source of creating good shots for the Lakers. Period, but especially in this series. So it's going to be a lot of Luka ISO. Now, if you don't like how much he dribbles and all that and takes step-back threes, that's a different conversation. But the thing is, the Wolves, I mean, the first quarter was a struggle for them. I think a lot of it was their offense was bad, and the Lakers brought a level of physicality and desperation that they weren't quite prepared for. And Ant-Man, turned the ball over a little bit and was making some wrong reads. And when the Lakers got stops, I thought LeBron did a good job of looking to push pace, looking to get the ball up the floor fast. And, basketball is a simple game. When you get stops, it makes your offense easier. When you get scores, it makes your defense able to set and makes that easier. So the Lakers just had the more physicality, the more energy. And when Ant-Man had the ball at the top of the key, Lakers would have basically boxes and elbows, they call it, basically loading up, making it look as if it's a box and one. But it's not a box and one because if Ant passes the ball and moves, it goes back to a man-to-man, right? As opposed to a box and one, where it's a zone, a 2-2 zone, and then one guy's just sticking with the guy. So Ant-Man, when he's at the top, what he could do is drive and just dish it out to the wing, and that guy attacks a gap. Simple play. Although that's kind of what the defense wants, is just to kind of get him to get rid of the ball. And it is a pass they could potentially steal with the NBA length, because when you're at the top, NBA players can really kind of play that pass to the wing and make that one a tough one. You know what I'm saying? When they're in the gaps. So he was at times telling guys to go to the basket. But here's the thing. When they go through, there should be someone in the strong side corner, but there can't be two guys underneath the basket. The Denver Nuggets and the Wolves have to be very careful with their spacing, because at times Ant-Man was looking around and he's like, what am I going to do? Like, he'd catch the ball on the wing and somebody would just completely leave their man from the weak side and pull over. And then somebody would take the closest guy. So if that's the case, whoever's being left open on the weak side has to flash into open space. Now, what makes it really annoying and frustrating for me is seeing everybody talk about how great this basketball is. And it almost feels as though they are being restricted as basketball players due to analytics. Nobody wants to catch the ball and potentially shoot from 18 to 20 feet. If that's what's being left open, they stay behind the three and force their teammates to throw the skip. And like, when guys flash the middle, you see the results in the NBA. Chris Dunn does it a lot. Nico does it a lot. But the thing is, if you go and flash and your man goes back and retreats to you, now the guy with the ball, your star, gets to ISO. But you can't just let someone load up and completely leave you and just stay on the opposite side of the court where you are forcing your teammate to throw the pass that they want. You have some guys like Luka and LeBron who are exceptional at that skip. But like, that's not basketball to me, where guys are not cutting into open space because they can't turn and fire from 18. Like, they have to catch behind the three or a layup. It's terrible hoops, in my opinion, when teams do that. It's like if you're not at the dunker spot, if you're not on the opposite side of the court by the three, you're not like getting the ball when teams are loading up. It makes it look so much harder than it needs to be. And then we get the conversation, and this is what I like to do is, contextualize history and stuff. We have people that, say that you couldn't do, like legally, you couldn't do the defense the Lakers are playing, before 2002, right? Illegal defense. You couldn't just kind of leave your man on the weak side and just come pull over. By the letter of the law, that is true. You could not do that. But teams did get away with that stuff a lot of the time. And because teams were naturally not spacing out to the three, the natural sagging off and getting ready to help can oftentimes look like box and elbows even then. And I've seen it with Jordan, with certain games I've watched. But again, I've not gone down through that rabbit hole completely. But there are counters to all of this. You know what I'm saying? This is not something you couldn't do in my time watching basketball. There are counters to all this. None of this is new. Pulling a guy over from the weak side, getting ready for a player to drive is not new in basketball. It's called special attention. And that's what Anthony Edwards is getting. Now he's got to get to it. And there seemed like a little bit of a resistance for Ant to take a pull-up mid-range in this game against that, because that's how you counter a lot of that. When a team is getting ready for you to drive, you got to stop on a dime and pull. Ask Kawhi, ask Kobe, ask Michael Jordan. So that's the thing. And this is where Ant-Man's going to have to be tested a little bit to catch the ball inside the arc sometimes. If everything's behind the three, they're going to have a guy ready to load up on that drive. And it's not like they weren't doing any of that in game one. I think the rotations were just sharper and their ball pressure was better. It's not like they weren't loading up in game one. Maybe they were, because people were saying they overhelped in game one. But I think they just played their angles better. When Ant caught the ball, they were already loaded up. It wasn't like waiting for him to drive and then collapsing. You know what I'm saying? They were ready to load up. It was very KYP, know your personnel. Let's not let Ant-Man get in the paint. Let's not let Ant-Man get in the paint. And let's run them off the three-point line. They only got 25 three-point attempts. So let's make these other guys get in the in-between area and take some tough shots. And they were able to accomplish that. So you now see, and by the way, Gabe Vincent and Dorian Finney-Smith, I thought they came off the bench and gave the Lakers a great boost. Gabe Vincent's on-ball defense and just his aggression was really good. Made a three late in the first quarter. And it was 9-0 in fast break points in the first quarter in favor of the Lakers. Luka had 16 in the first. But my only thing is this. When Luka gets off to these crazy starts, it's a lot of just everyone standing and watching Luka cook. And I don't know if that's the best for LeBron and Reeves all the time. Now, Reeves could not hit an open three to save his life to begin the game or throughout the game. Let's see what he ended with. 0 for 6. So, yeah, he couldn't hit a three to save his life, but he was 7 for 8 from 2. So, and I thought his effort level was spectacular for, the for the Lakers. Second quarter was a lot of trading baskets. I thought the Wolves defense locked in a bit. Gobert's offense is terrible, but I thought his defense was really good. His rim protection, when he was switching onto the perimeter on guys like Luka, LeBron, Reeves, he was looking pretty good. And they were chipping away at it late in the first half, even though they were in foul trouble, and that really hurt them with DiVincenzo and Reed getting in foul trouble. They were outscored, by the way, 34-15 in the first, and then outscored the Lakers 28-24 in the second to make it 58-43 going into the third quarter. The Wolves went on a 9-0. I'm sorry, the Wolves came out a little bit better in the third, and then Redick started spamming. You can hear it on the mic, cussing out the team, and they responded with a 9-0 run. And it all started from Luka creating offensive advantages. And the Lakers continued to load up on Ant, make him get rid of the ball. And, Ant commented after the game that he was confused at what they were doing. I think it just comes down to take a picture of the court, realize who's being left open. And sometimes you're going to have to make eye contact with that guy or even make a sign. Even if you point and make the fingers to or say, come here, come on. Because a player can read when you're doing that. But if they pick that guy up, said guy that's being left open, and now Ant can ISO again, that's what you need. You can't just have a guy leave their man. And because the thing is, it's nowadays as well, you have the concept of spacing being emphasized to the biggest degree. So you have the guys spotting up behind the three around the court and not in any of the gaps that are being allowed for you to catch in. And that allows these NBA players to kind of shrink the floor. So Lakers did a good job of that. Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui Hachimura, LeBron. It's very interesting with this Lakers team because they go from one game feeling like, oh, we can play small ball. We can swarm you. We can be a great defensive team when everybody locks in and we have these wings and big guys. Then there's other games where they look like, oh, yeah, no wonder. This is what we thought they were going to be when they traded AD. It's night and day. And you saw the game 1 version until the game 2 version. Question is, what version is going to win out? As far as the Wolves, it really comes down to, certain guys staying out of foul trouble. I think Naz Reid is a huge, huge player in this series for the Wolves because when they have Randall and Gobert in, the spacing just naturally isn't as good. When they have Reid and Randall or Reid and Gobert, it gives them a different element spacing wise. And Reid just is able to get buckets. But the only great shot creator on this team is Ant-Man. And this series will be a test for him and Julius Randle. They're going to attract attention because the Lakers just don't have many guys that even have a chance of guarding them. But they have some intelligent help defenders, and they have some guys with size and length. Jared Vanderbilt being another one of those guys. So it's going to come down to what kind of passes and what kind of reads Ant-Man and Randle can make. And I think catching the ball closer to the basket is a huge solution to this because it prevents the load up so much easier. And I'm saying that boxes and elbows, if you're catching behind the arc, it is. If you're catching in the mid post, there's no load up to be had because you're already inside the free throw line. So you're flirting with the defensive 3. You have to hard double more often. But that's my biggest criticism of Ant. How often he's going to catch the ball inside the arc. That's one of my biggest criticisms of any modern player right now because it's such a perimeter game. But, that is where, and again, I'm very thankful. He just never is healthy until now, I guess, hopefully, knock on wood. I'm very thankful that I have a player that likes to catch inside the arc because you see what it does to his efficiency. You see what it does, but you have to have the mid-range skill. Ant-Man obviously is nowhere near Kawhi mid-range, but he's not a bad mid-range shooter. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys like Tatum, like Paul George, Devin Booker, they're not bad mid-range shooters. I actually think Devin Booker, this year he shot too many threes, though. I think Bud had something to do with that. But even KD, it's just a lot of times it's too much behind the arc. If you catch it inside the arc, sometimes you don't even need to dribble. And it just doesn't give the defense as much time. Off ball is where you do your work, young players. Off ball. It's something I did not do as a kid. I would come back to the three-point line and get the ball. Now I try to catch the ball inside the arc so I can just go and make a move and boom, defenses collapse. So that's the big thing for Ant. It's going to be all about his processing time, processing speed, I should say, and reading the help. That's what it's going to be. And it's just like I said for the Nuggets. It's going to be the same for the Wolves. And you know what's funny? It's the same thing for Kawhi and the Clippers. What did we do better in game 2? When Kawhi got doubled, when he got loaded up on, Chris Dunn, Zubats, these guys flashing to the gaps, to the middle. You don't allow teams to leave you open. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool. That's not cool to your teammates. But Luka, I mean, when I saw him box out Rudy Gobert and then talk shit after he prevented him from getting a rebound, I was like, whoa, this guy is boxing out. He's doing all the little things. It was a desperation. The Lakers outscored the Wolves 23-22 in the third. Then in the fourth quarter, the Lakers looked like they kind of ran out of gas, especially LeBron. And it's crazy because he was not on ball like that, but his defense and his defensive effort was high. But he looked gassed. They only scored 13 points, and Luka looked kind of gassed. And he only got a short rest. He came in within like 3 minutes because the Wolves were getting closer, and LeBron missed a couple of chippies. And again, Reed at the 5 made it tougher to guard, but the steal by LeBron to make it 92-81, I thought was kind of the game-sealing play. And then Rui Hachimura, I thought he had some great moments of interior defense. The thing about Rui is he's a good interior defender and he's a big body. He's just like not good laterally per se. Like he's just not great laterally. But yeah, that's the final. Lakers win it 94-85 to tie the series at 1. Honestly, like the Wolves came out really good out of these first 2 games. They got what they came for. They lost by single digits. They lost in a game that they shot 38% from the field and 20% from 3. I mean, they had some rough possessions. You know, the Lakers forced some 24-second violations, but they are going to make a lot of those shots. Naz Reid and DiVincenzo each having 4 fouls, and Julius Randle and McDaniel having 5. Didn't really limit Randle and McDaniel's minutes much. I mean, McDaniel's played 38, Randle played 39, but, you know, it always hurts your aggression. So we will see. It's going to be fun going to Minnesota. I think overall, the Wolves didn't play with that same hunger in game 2. Lakers played with desperation, which is what you need. Game 3 is going to be fun. I wouldn't be too confident if I'm a Laker fan, although the momentum is back in your favor. And that's the thing about game 1s. The second a team wins a game 2, I still think the Wolves are in the better spot, but Lakers won a game, and that's all that matters right now, the most recent game. Through the lines, the Minnesota Timberwolves played a 9-man rotation and 7 minutes for Terrence Shannon Jr., who played who has scored 2 points, got 1 rebound. I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea who that is. 27th pick in last year's draft. Wow, from Illinois. Okay. Sorry, I've been out of the loop this year, guys, for obvious reasons. Well, since January 7th. Dante DiVincenzo, 16 minutes played. It was not the same kind of game for him in game 2. He had just 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 dimes to go along with 2 turnovers on 1 for 4 shooting and 0 for 2 from 3. So not the best game for Dante. Mike Conley played 21 minutes and looked like the Mike Conley we saw this year. Not great. A donut, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and he was 0 for 5 from the field and 0 for 3 from deep in 21 minutes. And then Naz Reid, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 3 turnovers. Just wasn't as good of a game for Naz. 3 for 8 from the field, 1 for 3 from deep, and made both his free throws. And then Rudy Gobert played just 29 minutes, 6 points, 6 rebounds. It's got to be better offensively if he can. 2 for 5 from the field, 2 for 4 from the line. I mean, he's going to get attacked. So it's a choice for Finch by Luka specifically. But he does bring you some, rebounding and rim protection. Jaden McDaniels, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 turnover on 3 for 11 shooting and 0 for 3 from deep. So it was kind of a return back to earth for Jaden McDaniels, but I don't know. I still think that he is going to have a very good series. And the foul trouble hurt him, but the shot making, I think, will be fine. Julius Randle, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover on 9 for 17 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, and 7 for 9 from the foul line. So, I mean, honestly, the way he's playing right now, let's see what he's averaging in the playoffs. 21.5 points on 21.5 points, 4.5 boards, 5.5 assists on 54, 60, 70 splits. So he's having a pretty good series so far through 2. Ant-Man, 25 points, 6 boards, 2 turnovers on 10 for 22 shooting, 2 for 8 from 3, 3 for 4 from the foul line, 8 for 14 from 2. So he was still able to get into the gaps, get into the paint at times. In this series right now, he is averaging 23.5 points, 7 rebounds, 4.5 assists on 41, 35, 83 split. So he hasn't even gotten lights out in a game yet. So I think in Minnesota, at least one of these next 2 games, he's going to go ballistic in one of them. What is 3-ball specifically. Let's talk about the Lakers, though. They played 9 deep. Jordan Goodwin, donut, 1 rebound. Didn't even get a shot off in his 7 minutes. Vando played 8 minutes, worked hard, got a steal at the end of the first quarter, 1 rebound, but had a donut as well and a turnover. Shot 1 time, and it was that 3 at the end of the first. Jackson Hayes, 9 minutes, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 block, 1 turnover on 1 for 2 shooting. So in this matchup, it's going to be a lot of Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then Rui LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves. Gabe Vincent played 19 minutes. Thought he was very good. 6 points, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 turnover on 2 for 4 shooting, and all his shots were threes. Rui Hachimura played 34 minutes, had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers. So very active defensively. 4 for 9 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, and 3 for 3 from the foul line. Rui Hachimura so far averaging 10 points in the series. His shooting splits not great just yet. So he's at 39% from the field right now and 33 from deep. So he can shoot a little better. And I can see him shooting better in those Minnesota games. Dorian Finney-Smith played 39 minutes, and I thought he was fantastic. Where would they be without that trade? 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, no turnovers on 3 for 6 shooting and 1 for 3 from deep. And then you've got Austin Reeves, who actually played a team high and a game high 43 minutes, had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and just 1 turnover on 7 for 14 shooting, 0 for 6 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. I thought he had an amazing effort. Amazing. No, Todd, the show, it is not a replay. And yes, I'm a Kings fan, Alonzo R. So we started the show with that. Anyway, we're about to be done with the Lakers portion of this live. Wanted to say a couple more things. LeBron James, 21 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers on 8 for 19 shooting, 1 for 5 from 3, and 4 for 4 from the foul line in 40 minutes. Rui had an injury scare for a second. It forced LeBron to get a quicker rest than he wanted to. But by the way, this season was the lowest LeBron has averaged since his rookie year. Wow. And it's interesting because he averaged more shot attempts than last year. Career low in free throw attempts. Kind of lines up. But anyway, so far this series, LeBron hasn't found his 3-ball just yet. He's shooting 43% from the field and 20 from 3, averaging 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. But again, you might be wondering, like, why are his stats so bad? Those aren't bad. I mean, but not LeBron-like. Well, Luka, he had 31, 12, and 9. 1 assist away from a triple-double, 1 block, 4 turnovers on 9 for 20 shooting, 2 for 8 from 3, 11 for 11 from the foul line. So that was big. Getting to the line double-digit times. Lakers shot 20 for 20 from the line, as I said, 45% from the field, but just 21% from 3. So they have not shot well from 3. But they're not a great three-point shooting team. But I have just a very hard time believing that this series does not come back 2-2 to LA in Game 5. I just feel like it. 38% for the Minnesota Timberwolves from the field, 20 from 3, and 80 from the foul line. So the Lakers shot better in every single category except just 0.7% better in the three-point shooting category. The last comment I wanted to make was the player touches, right? Now, in the playoffs, and I'll share my screen with those that are on YouTube with me. I want to show you, because I haven't even looked at it yet, but I want to see what it looks, if it aligns with my eye test. The player touches a minute, how long the ball is in someone's hands for the Lakers. So I'm not showing it just yet. I'm about to pull it up because I want everybody to see it. So you know that I'm not just making things up. Let's take a look. Okay, can everybody see the screen? Please let me know in the comments. When you look at the Lakers, touches per game, Luka Doncic has 85.5. LeBron James, 76.5. Austin Reeves, 73. Time of possession. You see this. How rare is this? Luka Doncic has the ball for almost 3 more minutes per game than Austin Reeves. And Austin Reeves is having the ball in his hands more than LeBron. So you can clearly see the rhythm might be a thing. LeBron's getting LeBron. You're the Chris Bosh now, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing, but I'm half kidding, but like I'm not kidding. Because that's not normal for LeBron to be third with time of possession. You know what I'm saying? It's been a thing, but not in the regular season. It was much closer between him and Reeves, not almost a minute difference. So I would like to think that they're going to try to get the ball to LeBron just a little bit more. I'm curious to see who's leading the entire playoffs in time of possession. Jalen Brunson, of course. He's low-key a ball hog. Actually, not low-key, high-key. I'm just a Clipper fan and an LA guy. I don't watch enough Knicks games. Jalen Brunson, of players that are actually relevant, that playing minutes, is leading in average seconds per touch, too. James Harden being second in that checks out. James Harden, second in time of possession in the entire playoffs. Classic. Jokic, number 1 in touches. That checks out. So anyway, that's it for the Laker portion of this live. Now, let's talk about the Clippers. I see the comments. I'll probably just try to answer them at the end. Yeah, that was weird. Anyway, the Clippers, game 2 against Denver. Now, we needed to take care of the ball. That's been the biggest thing about this series is whichever team takes care of the ball seems to win, which is, very much a basketball thing. But we had 20 turnovers in game 1. They had 20 turnovers in game 2. And the funniest thing was it was 20-11 turnovers. Clippers with 20 in game 1. In game 2, exact opposite, 20-11. So, and it starts with the best player. In the first game, Jokic had 7 turnovers. I'm sorry, Kawhi had 7 turnovers. And in the second game, Joker had 7 turnovers. Now, in terms of how the game went, same matchups for us, except we had Kawhi on Aaron Gordon and Harden on Michael Porter to start the game because we didn't want to have, because James Harden, he allowed some offensive rebounds on Aaron Gordon in the first game, late in the game. Norm did not get off to a great start again. And I'm very thankful for the big shots he made in the fourth quarter. Huge, huge shots. But throughout the game, it was rough for a while. And I truly believe if we can get something from 0 Point Bogey and Norm in game 3, we will be fine. What time are you arriving tomorrow? Could I buy you a beer? Of course you can. I'll be there very early, honestly, because this is going to be one of my biggest videos ever. So very early. I'm thinking maybe like 5. I'll get there. Anyway, thank you for the super chat, by the way, Jorge Mercado. Kawhi was so aggressive against Jamal Murray early. I talked about, so it was interesting because our best source of offense versus this team is Harden, Zoo, pick and roll, not as much Kawhi isolation. And game 1 only backed that up. So I thought we'd spam Harden, Zoo, pick and roll a little bit more because you can argue that late in game 1, we just didn't go to it enough. But we were really trying to get Kawhi going because he was 9 for 15 in game 1, but 15 shots is not anywhere near enough, right? Anywhere near enough. And 7 turnovers, we had to be better about those doubles. He got the ball and we got him switched on with Jamal Murray switched on to him. And the Nuggets, they're letting Jamal Murray switch on to Kawhi so easily, just like how in game 7 or throughout that Wolves series, they let Jamal Murray guard guys like Ant and it came back to bite him. Kawhi had 12 points and 1 assist for a Chris Dunn 3 against Jamal Murray alone in the first quarter. So he was getting to it. Mid-post Kawhi, getting 2 feet in the paint. And a different substitution pattern. Zubats came out halfway through the first quarter for Ben Simmons with 6:20 left, and we were down by 4. And thankfully, before Zoo came back in, it was only 21-26. So we were okay. And he did a good job starting the game, finishing as always, if it's a Zubats. We had a lineup of James Harden and 4 bench players for a second. And with Joker, when Zoo was in, he was in drop. That, we scored on him a couple times. And then he was going to the level after, but I'm not sure why, because I thought he was doing okay in drop. I just don't think they have much of a solution for our pick and roll. Obviously, we don't have much of a solution for their pick and pop with Murray and Jokic, but I think we have better personnel to make their life tough than they do for us. I've said that in the preview. I said that after game 1. So, we did a decent job. Harden had a really rough first quarter. He was dribbling off his foot. There was one time where he literally just didn't stop the ball and let Peyton Watson get a layup. And we as a team could not make an open 3 in the first. We were 2 for 9 from deep, but Kawhi was 12 points on 5 for 5 shooting. In the first quarter, we were down 31-25. So it was kind of the opposite of game 1. And then in the second quarter, we built some, not separation, but we outscored them 30-21. Defense clamped down. Kawhi was still cooking, but we were still missing every open 3. However, as opposed to game 1, I thought we did a lot better job in the non-Jokic minutes, just taking advantage. And when DeAndre Jordan came in, shout out to one of the greatest Clipper centers of all time. He's going to get surpassed by Zubats, but came into the game, we started sending Zoo out to the level of the screen because we're like, oh, DeAndre Jordan, the short roll, what's that going to do? And it forced some turnovers on Jamal Murray. So I thought that was a pretty good strategy. By the way, never mind. I'll get to it at the end. Bogey was bricking literally everything. Thankfully, Nico Batum, he broke a little cold spell in that second quarter. And then Harden finally got going a bit, made a 3. And then he had a nice outlet to Kawhi for a dunk, then another 3 and a floater. So within minutes, within a couple of minutes, he had 8 points in the second quarter. We took the lead, and then Kawhi had that amazing buzzer beater to end the second quarter and give us a 3-point lead going into the half. 55-52. Third quarter, trading baskets. By the way, I was at the watch party. If you want to see how it was at the watch party and what fans were saying throughout the game, I had a video. The support on those videos has been amazing, Clipper Nation. I cannot thank you enough. Every single vlog I've done this season, whether it be preseason, viewing party, all of it has been 1,000 views or more. That's a first for the channel. So every year we get new milestones, and it's really an honor to just keep building this. It's been a slow growth. I'm a long-form content creator. I know it's harder than I could release one video a week and try to go for a banger and spend more time editing and probably get more subscribers. But the community that I've built with the long-form content creation is nothing like it. So it feels like, I don't know, it's really special. As far as the third quarter, Kawhi was still cooking Murray, had 4 more points on him. But then Kawhi and Zoo both came out with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third. So we were giving him an extended rest so they could both play the whole fourth quarter. Now, remember in game 1, we took Zubats out for like 7 minutes of NBA time. So that's like 45 minutes of real or 30 minutes of real time. So that was dangerous. We didn't do that this time. James Harden hit a huge sidestep 3 in that third quarter when, it was just like, it feels like every basket in a playoff game just means so much, compared to the regular season. Like buckets that in a normal regular season game, it's like, oh, it's still not the fourth quarter yet. Every basket, like second quarter buckets feel huge. We started throwing more doubles on Jokic, especially after the pick and pop. What we were doing was we'd still drop with Zoo, and people were wondering, what are we going to make someone else beat us because that strategy didn't really work out in game 1, or are we going to let Jokic cook? And it was more so letting other guys beat us, because what we were doing was we had Zoo in drop coverage, and then whoever was guarding Murray, when they left Jokic open for a sec so that Murray would pass him, they would switch on the flight of the ball. So they would take that pick and pop away, but then it would force a mismatch, and then we double, and then we're in rotation. But that's one thing I said before the series. We could, try doing that because we have so many good athletes that cover ground and shrink the floor. Like I was saying, the Lakers are doing well. We do that even way better than the Lakers do, because guys like Chris Dunn, they're so smart at reading passes. They have active hands. And Derrick Jones Jr., he covers ground like there's no tomorrow. Kawhi has insane hands. Harden has quick hands. Nico's long and athletic. So we do a great job of being able to double Jokic and then rotate onto the next pass. And we were exposing the fact that, Brown, Gordon, Westbrook, they weren't always spaced out really well. So anyway, it's what's it called? It's very tough. I'm sorry. It was a great adjustment. Great job helping. Great job rotating. Just really good stuff defensively. And we forced 6 turnovers in that third quarter for them. Fourth quarter, Kawhi's big 3 led to a timeout. The Joker doubles were looking fantastic. Chris Dunn, man, that guy's just insane. Can you believe that guy's not going to be all defense because of this stupid minutes requirement? Actually insane. Actually insane. Bogey had a good steal on Westbrook. By the way, some of those careless turnovers, Westbrook in the backcourt, Jokic throwing, we double teamed and loaded up and, forced him to throw the cross court, and Joker threw a lob pass that he would usually make out of bounds over Peyton Watson's head. And then they had another turnover because there's spacing late in the game where I think Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon were like right next to each other. And then the fact that Jokic turned that ball over at the end and missed all those free throws, I was like, wow, like you can't really blame it. You can blame some other guys, but you got to blame Jokic if you're a Nuggets fan. Like he was not good enough. Kawhi was being playoff Kawhi. And then Norm, what an amazing job Norm did to flash to the middle when Kawhi was loaded up on the wing. He made sure he got into his line of vision. So like I shouldn't even have to say that that's an adjustment by the coaching staff. The players should know to get in Kawhi's line of vision. Part of the 7 turnovers was because the teammates, our guys weren't doing a good job of, actually getting in Kawhi's line of vision and making the pass easier for him, coming to him. So I thought Norman Powell did a really good job there making those floaters. He also had that nice drive and dump off to Zoo for a huge and 1 in that fourth quarter. So just awesome plays by Norm. But Kawhi just making good reads, just making better reads. I think our coaching staff did a much better job managing the lineups. I know some people were saying, why is Norm closing? He wasn't playing well, but he kept the faith in him. And that's why you do keep the faith in him, because he can have performances like that where he makes big shots. That Michael Porter Jr. turnover, that saved James Harden's ass, because he had that terrible turnover where he threw it away. And then MPJ turned it over and Norm hit that three. Absolutely huge shot. I believe that made it 103 to 100. And then Kawhi's pull up. When Kawhi's pulling up on a dime like that, no full stop, that's when he's like feeling himself. And I've been very critical of Kawhi Leonard closing games as a Clipper. Not purposely, just because he hasn't closed out games very well. It looks like he gets tired. Well, playoff Kawhi arrived. And I can't tell you how surreal it was. I've already spoken about it so much, but how surreal it was to see playoff Kawhi, for the Clippers after all this, after I really ruled it out. And the fact that he finished the game healthy and he's going into it and we're officially going to get a fully healthy Kawhi for a playoff game in front of a sold-out Clipper fan base after 6 years. In the entirety of me starting this channel, we have never seen it until now. Can you believe? And we're not there yet. We're not at game time yet. So we're going to keep knocking. But, it's really a dream come true, honestly. And I know I've said my pieces about Kawhi, about how I've wanted him off the team and all that. But I've always wanted him to have a playoff series healthy. It's not like I don't want it. I just didn't believe in it anymore. So I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying being wrong. And I want to see him finish the series. My whole thing was not that he wouldn't play a playoff game. Is that can he finish a series? I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. It's been amazing. He is, when he's healthy, I just love his game. I love watching him play. He doesn't take a possession off. He responded like one of the best small forwards in NBA history responds. And it's just unfortunate how little we've gotten to enjoy this as Clipper fans, because when when I got the notification, I didn't even get a notification. I was on Twitter, July 5th, 2019. That was supposed to be one of the best days of my entire life. Like, not just as a sports fan, of my life. Because that's what this means to me. And I've literally lost my joy for the team. Like, for rooting for the team. Like, I still love going to the games, but like watching on TV just doesn't hit the same. The wins and losses just don't hit the same. I've said that since we traded for Harden. I was like, I've just been detached. Because I've already had so much problems with 2-on-3. But that first playoff game on Saturday was the first playoff game that I was looking forward to watching on TV. And I'm really looking forward to all the games right now. And having playoff Kawhi, it's just a blast. I'm just enjoying it. I'm just enjoying it because these are the only games that had fans that Kawhi looked like Kawhi for the Clippers in the playoffs. So take the bubble out of the picture, because that didn't feel like playoff Kawhi. Because it doesn't feel like the fucking playoffs, because it was a joke. Not taking away anything from the Lakers, but it was a joke to watch. I hated it before it even started. Go check my first episode ever of Dime Dropper. I did not want the bubble for a reason. I'm a basketball purist. You can't have playoffs without the fans. That's a fucking joke. Anyway, should have just canceled the season. 2021, never. Actually, no. I'm sorry. Because I was at games 1 and 2, and we lost those games against the Mavericks. We have a vlog of that in the channel. Can you link that playlist? Bones got busy in the channel. But yeah, what a win, guys. And the fact that we, I was scared that we were going to lose the game with the offensive boards, but the switch and double strategy and then what we were doing on the doubles looked really good. We ended with, we had a stretch where it was the big four plus Derek Jones, which I loved. And then we went with Dunn, and, Dunn made some big plays in the fourth quarter. And Kawhi had 7 points on Aaron Gordon in the fourth quarter alone. So, I even gave Aaron Gordon credit. He's a good guy to guard Kawhi. When Kawhi's playing like this, it looks like no good defender in the league can guard him one-on-one, and that's when you are unstoppable, when the league's best defenders can't even guard you. 12 points in the fourth. One of Kawhi's best closing jobs as a Clipper and one of his best games as a Clipper, period. We win 105-102. How about the mental toughness to win a game after you were supposed to win game 1 and blow it in heartbreaking fashion? You come back and show them, you know what? We should be up 2-0 if anything. And here's the thing. A lot of people are probably thinking there's no way, actually, I don't know, that this series will be 3-1 going back to Denver. But we can make it happen. And this is where the fans come into play. This is where we do our part and make this the loudest home game in Clipper history, so all the people on fucking NBA TV can enjoy it. Don't even get me started on that. But actually, you know what? Now that people are taking note of it, I'll just talk about it more. But It is going to be electric. Let me just read the lines first before we start hyping up tomorrow. 105, 102 is the final. Oh, yeah, I was doing the Kawhi thing. So, yeah, games 1 and 2 of the 2021 series. There's the playlist. First round. So, even though game 7 of that first round series, Kawhi was amazing, it didn't really feel like a playoff game because it's cardboard cutouts. So, I'll say game 3, game 4, and game 6 of the Mavs series felt like playoff Kawhi because it was at a playoff atmosphere. So 3, we lost the games against the Jazz, and then we won with no fans. And then I would say games 1 and 2 of the Phoenix series, that's 5. And then these 2 games, 7. 7 games of playoff Kawhi that felt like playoff Kawhi, and 3 of them really stick out in my head. Game 6, Dallas. Game 1, Phoenix, and now this one. I mean, and I'm hoping to add more to the list. 39 points from Kawhi Leonard. 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 1 turnover on, wait for it. Wait for it. 15 for 19 from the field. I mean, this guy, when he starts getting going, he just doesn't miss. 4 for 7 from 3. He was 11 for 12 from 2. And a lot of these are contested mid-ranges. I mean, I know, yeah, he's shooting over a chair with Murray, but when you have the spacing that you have in the modern NBA and you have a mid-range sniper, it's hard to stop. And Kawhi is just, he doesn't do too much with it, man. He's surgical with his dribbles compared to other players today. He gets to the mid-post. He embraces physicality. It's just, he gets to his spots within 12 feet, and it's a beauty to watch in the playoffs when he's got those legs. And he's doing it on both ends. He's getting interceptions. I mean, he's getting, the way Jokic thinks that he's got someone open, and he doesn't because Kawhi stunts and then recovers and just grabs the ball in midair. Like, he's special, man. And by the way, we can do all the hocus pocus mumbo jumbo scheme stuff, but here's the bottom line. The game where Jokic was the best player on the court, the Nuggets won, and the game where Kawhi was the best player, we won. And a lot of times it just comes down to that in the playoffs. It's a dude's game, as my man Ricky G would say. So the Clippers win at 105 to 102. 48% from the field we shot. They shot 47% from the field, so very even. We did take 6 more shots. They shot 44% from 3. We shot 38. So they shot better there. But free throws, they shot 10 more than us. So 2 straight games, they've had double-digit free throws more, or they had more free throws than us by at least double digits, at least 10. So hopefully that whistle gets good at Intuit with our crowd. 47, 44, 64 splits for the Nuggets. So yeah, 14 for 22 from the line is pretty butt. We were 48, 38, 83 splits, 10 for 12. The Nuggets went 8 and 9 deep. So they included DeAndre Jordan. Didn't really matter. He played 5 minutes and had a donut and 1 rebound. Didn't get a shot off. Jalen Pickett played 7 minutes. He had 2 points, 1 assist, 1 turnover on 1 for 2 shooting and missed his only 3. Peyton Watson played 14 minutes and he had 3 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal on 1 for 2 shooting. So, I mean, they only played 1 bench player over 15 minutes, and that was Russ, who had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 turnovers on 5 for 11 shooting, 3 for 6 from 3, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. I didn't really watch the game. I'm not watching the game from a Nuggets perspective, but I think that's fine if you get that from Russ. Starters for the Nuggets, they all played 33 minutes or more. Christian Brown had 5 points only after a really good game 1, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 2 turnovers on an abysmal 2 for 7 shooting and 0 for 2 from 3, including the potential game-tying 3, which he had a great look at, and it didn't even hit rim. That was embarrassing. And then Jokic, he actually had Aaron Gordon open in the strong side corner, and then he just took it. So it was a bad. It wasn't a good shot. Good defense on us by the Clippers at the end. MPJ had a better game this time. He had 15 and 15, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 turnovers on 6 for 11 shooting and 2 for 4 from 3 and 1 for 2 from the foul line. Aaron Gordon, not as good of a game as he had in game 1, and that's what we needed. 14 points, 6 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover on 5 for 13 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep, and made all 3 of his free throws. Then Murray, he had 23 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 turnovers, though. 11 turnovers between their 2 best players. So, but 9 for 17 from the field and 4 for 8 from three. The thing is only 1 for 1 from the free throw line. So him not getting, he's never been the type of guy that gets to the paint too much and gets free throws, Jamal Murray. So I don't know. That's still a pretty decent line for him. Efficient in 42 minutes. And then Jokic played 43 minutes, which is the most of any Nugget, had a triple-double. This is the standard we hold this guy to. 26 points, 11 boards, 10 assists, 3 steals, but 7 turnovers, and shot 50, 50, 60 splits. So 8 for 16, 4 for 8 from 3. By the way, we like that he's not taking the most shots. We want Murray or anyone else taking the most shots. But he shot 50% from 3 and 50 from the field, but 6 for 10 from the free throw line. That's a killer. A couple of those would have made a difference. So we hold him to a high standard, but the way that they play, they run everything through Jokic. He's got to make plays at the end of games, and I think he knows that. So 105-102 is the final. Then for us, we played a 9-man rotation. Ben Simmons played just 8 minutes, and he had a nice layup on pick and roll. 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, no turnovers on 1-for-1 shooting. Bogey played 15 minutes and was 0 for 5 after an 0 for 3 game 1. 0 points so far in the series, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal. I mean, absolutely insane. We need a little bit better, and I think we're going to get better. He's due. Just hopefully he doesn't, keep missing because it'll get in his head. Nico played 18 minutes, had 6 points, 4 boards, 2 steals and a block, no turnovers on 2 for 5 shooting, and all his shots were threes. I mean, how much do we love that guy? I'm wearing my Batum jersey on Thursday. Derek Jones Jr. continues to do his thing off the bench. Be an athlete, be a defender. 6 points, 2 rebounds, just 1 turnover on 3 for 7 shooting, 0 for 2 from 3. And then the starters. Chris Dunn, 5 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, no turnovers on 2 for 7 shooting and 1 for 4 from 3. I thought he was awesome. And then the big 4, Norman Powell, 13 points, 3 assists, 3 steals. It's really a big 3, but 13, 3, and 3 steals, 1 turnover on 5 for 14 shooting and 2 for 4 from 3. Those 7 points in the fourth were huge. And then Zoo, 16, 12, and 4 to go along with the steal. Turned the ball over twice, shot 60% from the field, 6 for 10. And here's my favorite stat of them all. 4 out of 5 from the free throw line. 4 out of 5 from the free throw line. Big Zoo. Is DeAndre Jordan doing that in his prime? Hell nah. Zoo's been amazing. He's doing as good of a job on Jokic as you can. He's rebounding. He's been finishing great. He's been setting great screens. He's been the man. Let's see. Let's go to Harden. Honestly, even though Harden didn't have as good of a game as game 1, I thought his defense was better, especially second half. And he had a terrible turnover, but he did enough. And that's all that matters. And he still helped run our offense. He's still a problem for them. He had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 7 dimes, 1 steal, 2 blocks. There you go, some active hands. 4 turnovers on 7 for 17 shooting, 4 for 11 from 3. So 11 out of your 17 shots being threes. Not a huge fan of that. But hopefully, and no free throw attempts is crazy. I know that won't be a thing into it. I already mentioned Kawhi's incredible stat line. So what a win. And now the scene shifts. So here's where I speak to all of you. 101 people in this chat. Laker Viking asks, thoughts on the Lakers crowd? Atmosphere seems a bit off so far. All rich people, someone said. But let me just say this. Laker fans are notorious for, not necessarily, at least at the Staples Center, not being the loudest. But 2023 playoffs, they came back with a vengeance because they hadn't been in the playoffs in a while. But maybe we're getting back to those days where the first round doesn't mean much to Laker fans. But they didn't have much to cheer about in game 1. But this is where it sets the stage for us to have even more motivation, especially with what Rick Adelman's Impractical Jokers head-ass son said today about insinuating that we pump in crowd noise. I had somebody from the Clippers literally call me and tell me that we don't at all. I thought during the noise, that little before the fourth quarter, like make noise before the game comes back from commercial or whatever, sounds fake, and the intros sound like there's like a fake yelling. But I guess I'm wrong. Regardless, though, it doesn't matter because when the ball's in play and when anyone on TV is watching, there's no fake noise. So he's going to find out the hard way. I'm going to be on his head. I'm going to show up early tomorrow, first to get that Kawhi playoff shirt, but secondly, to be in a good row in the swell so we can, one, get good footage, two, have great seats to watch playoff basketball, which I've never been as close as I'm going to be in a playoff game that I will be tomorrow. I mean, I've been to the 100 section in game 7 against the Spurs and all that, but this is going to be different. How close you are into it is just different. The wall, a standing up only section. Andrew Joro says, flying in from Reno, family's in LA, and I'm flying into LA for game 2. You mean game 4? 2 hours before game time. What is the best way to get wall tickets? I don't know about wall tickets. Go to Ticketmaster and see what you can do. Tickets, game time, I guess. But, oh, man. Yep. We are excited, man. We are excited. Like, this is going to be, by the way, thank you for the super chat. Someone else says, wear blue. Zach Price says, wear blue, Clips fans. Look, man. And no, I didn't. I've been to a Laker playoff game in 12 years. Let me just say this. We have had some great playoff crowds in the past. Some really great playoff crowds. But it feels like since 2015, besides the Terrence game, even in the conference finals, the atmosphere was a little dead relative to Lob City. I don't know if that's because the team's fans, our fans weren't as behind them. I don't know if it's because it technically was not a 19,000 seat stadium in the 2021 run because there were still some rows that were not allowed to be used because of COVID. I don't know if it's because we had more Lakers sympathizers at our games in the Lob City days that liked us as opposed to now they hate us. I don't know. But one thing I did know was that Staples Center's acoustics, or whatever you want to call it, the way that sound comes out, it was not getting to that roaring level anymore for Clipper games besides that game 6 of Terrence Mann in like the last 10 years. I'm going to be honest with you. But this Intuit Dome, and I noticed it from the first game, these acoustic tiling or the way they built this stadium and how close everybody is and the lack of separation between the upper level and lower and the wall, it's built for nights like tomorrow. Steve Ballmer had a vision to build something that you're going to see tomorrow. The wall of Clipper fans. And look, this seat, what you see on TV, what you hear, that section with the signs, with the jokes, with the chants, that is the swell. That is the heart of the wall. That is all the people from 207 last year that wanted to renew, plus new people that are in a standing only section, the one that I sit in, that's led by Casey King. That is the swell. That is the heart of the wall. And to be honest, they've been carrying the whole season. The rest of the wall has gotten more filled as the season's gone on. But tomorrow, we need the entire wall looking the way that Steve Ballmer intended it to look. But I'm speaking to everyone else. Everybody sitting in a section that says main or club, especially those that are going to be in the seats that are on TV. You better make some noise, and you better stand up for this fucking team when it's timeout and we make a run. And do not let down your noise level in the second quarter. The second quarter is the most dull quarter in basketball. Do not let your noise down. Do not let go of how loud you're being. If we're down by 15 or 20 points, 4 quarters, this night is not just about the people on the court. It's about us. We have earned this. The Intuit Dome is a literal like Disneyland for Clipper fans. And this is the night where we get to basically give everything, all the pain, all the years that we've been second fiddle in that arena and at the sports arena. We're never even a serious basketball franchise yet. All the years of pain and everybody talking shit about how there's no Clipper fans, about how there's no such thing as Clipper Nation, and all these jokes made about how we don't have a fan base. I've been trying my best to show everybody what Clipper Nation's all about and hear the voices of our fan base throughout the last 2 years, maybe honestly the last couple of years. But tomorrow is the day that you let them hear you. If you are not at least sounding a little hoarse after the game, you have failed in doing your part tomorrow. Failed. This man DL2 out here texting during the live when I'm pumping up our own section, DL2. Come on, man. But anyway, this is going to be one of the biggest games, biggest nights of our lives as fans. For how much this means to me, it's going to be one of the biggest nights of my life, win or lose. I literally know more people that are going that are Clipper fans than not. And if those only one, I'm not going to say names, one of my boys is not going to either, but only one person I know is not going to either right now. And they are not located in LA County, so it's harder for them. But literally, if someone's not going tomorrow, they're going on Saturday. I mean, this is where all the diehards come out. And a lot of people were in my video and recognized me on opening night. I can't imagine what it's going to be like tomorrow. I can't imagine if we win what post-game interview is going to be like tomorrow. So just a note, tomorrow, if the post-game interviews gets insane tomorrow, we're going to split the videos up. We're going to do a vlog of just like the game and pregame and then a separate video for the post-game because it's going to be like an hour. It's going to be one of the nights of our lives. Clipper Nation, get well rested because that coach said we pump in fake noise. So I'll show you fake noise. That's it for tonight. I will see you tomorrow. And by the way, for those wondering, what about all the other teams, dude? You always talk about every other game. I am sorry. I am sorry. I will be better. I will still do it. I promise. I promise. I promise. I'm going to spend this weekend not sleeping and watching a lot of hoops to get back on track. I love you all. Go Clippers and go Kings. All right.